Marcus had been standing in that hallway for 3 hours. His legs ached. His back was stiff. But he didn't move. He couldn't. That was the job. Royal guards don't shift. They don't fidget. They become part of the walls. Invisible. Forgettable. That's what they're trained to be. But tonight, Marcus wished he could vanish completely. The grand ballroom of Kensington Palace glowed with golden light. Chandeliers sparkled overhead. Men in tailored suits laughed too loud. Women in silk gowns whispered behind their hands. It was supposed to be a celebration, a rare gathering of the entire royal family under one roof. A night of unity, of tradition, of pride. Marcus knew better. He could feel the tension crawling through the air like smoke. Something was wrong. Something no one was saying out loud. He stood by the tall mahogany doors that led to the private sitting room. The room where royals went when they needed to speak without cameras, without witnesses, or so they thought. Marcus had been stationed here before. He knew the doors didn't seal sound as well as people believed. If voices rose even just a little, he would hear them. And tonight the voices were rising. If you're enjoying this story so far, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Trust me, you'll want to hear this. It started with Prince Edward. His voice came first, sharp and cold. You think no one knows? You think we're all blind? Marcus didn't move. His eyes stayed forward. His face stayed blank. But his pulse quickened. Careful, Edward. That was the Queen Mother. Her tone was steel wrapped in velvet. You're speaking to your brother? My brother? Edward's voice cracked. My brother sold us out. He made a deal behind closed doors, and now we're all paying for it. Silence. Heavy and suffocating. Marcus felt his stomach tighten. He shouldn't be hearing this. He shouldn't be here. But orders were orders. Stay at your post. No matter what, another voice joined in. Princess Catherine, calm, measured. But underneath there was fire. If you have proof, Edward, then say it. Don't throw accusations around like a child. Proof? Edward laughed, but there was no humor in it. The proof is sitting in a Swiss bank account. The proof is the contract he signed 3 weeks ago. The proof is the reason our family's name is about to be dragged through every newspaper in the world. Marcus felt his throat go dry. His hands, clasped behind his back, started to sweat. He had guarded royalty for 8 years. He had heard arguments before, disagreements, petty fights over seating arrangements and public appearances. But this was different. This was dangerous. You don't know what you're talking about. That voice belonged to Prince Richard, the second eldest, the one everyone trusted, the steady one. But now his voice was shaking. You don't understand the full picture. Then explain it, Edward snapped. Explain why you met with Alistair Greaves. Explain why you accepted money from a man who's been under investigation for fraud. Explain why you're about to destroy everything our family has built. The room went silent again. But this time, the silence felt like a held breath. Like the moment before a storm breaks, Marcus could hear his own heartbeat now. Loud pounding. He wanted to walk away. To pretend he hadn't heard anything. But his feet stayed rooted to the floor. And then the Queen Mother spoke. Her voice was quieter now. Almost a whisper. But it cut through the air like a blade. If this gets out, Richard, it won't just destroy you. It will destroy all of us. Marcus closed his eyes for just a second. Just one. When he opened them again, he knew his life had just changed forever. The doors stayed closed. The voices inside grew quieter, but no less intense. Marcus could hear the shuffle of feet, the clink of glass. Someone was pouring a drink. Someone else was pacing. You're all acting like I committed treason? Richard's voice was defensive now. Wounded. Did what I had to do. For this family? For the future? By taking dirty money? Edward shot back. By shaking hands with a criminal? Alistair Greaves is not a criminal. He's a businessman. A powerful one. And yes, he's had some legal trouble, but that doesn't make him... He's under investigation for embezzlement, Richard. Princess Catherine interrupted. Her voice was louder now. angrier. He stole millions from his own investors. And you took his money? You put your name on a contract with his name. Do you understand what that means? It means we have funding, Richard said firmly. Real funding. The kind of money that can save the northern estates. The kind of money that can keep our charities running. The kind of money that keeps this family relevant? Relevant? The Queen Mother's voice dripped with disbelief. You think selling our integrity makes us relevant? Richard didn't answer right away. When he did, his voice was softer, pleading. I didn't sell anything. I made a partnership. A private one. No one was supposed to know. But they do know, Edward said flatly. A journalist contacted me 2 days ago. He has documents, photos, bank transfers. He has everything, Richard, and he's going to publish it. In less than a week. Marcus felt his chest tighten. His hands gripped each other harder behind his back. A journalist, documents. This wasn't just a family argument anymore. This was a scandal waiting to explode. Who is it? Richard's voice was barely a whisper now. Which journalist? James Holloway, Catherine said quietly. From the Daily Observer. Marcus knew that name. Everyone knew that name. Holloway was ruthless. He didn't write puff pieces. He didn't care about protecting reputations. He dug until he found blood, and then he didn't stop. We can pay him off, Richard said quickly, desperately. We can offer him something, anything, an exclusive interview. Access to no. The Queen Mother's voice was final. We do not bribe journalists. We do not negotiate with blackmail. That is not who we are, then what do we do? Richard's voice cracked. What do we do when the story breaks? When the whole world sees my name next to his? When they start asking questions about where the money went? When they realize I signed that contract without telling any of you? The silence that followed was the loudest sound Marcus had ever heard. You lied to us, Catherine said softly. You didn't just make a mistake, Richard. You lied. You hid this from all of us. From Mother. From Edward. From me. You made a decision that affects all of us, and you did it in secret. I was trying to protect you, Richard said, his voice shaking. I was trying to keep you out of it. If it went wrong, I wanted it to be my fault, not yours. Well, congratulations, Edward said bitterly. It went wrong, and now it's all of our problem. Marcus heard footsteps, heavy ones. Someone was walking toward the door. His heart jumped. He straightened his posture, his eyes snapping forward. The door handle turned. The heavy wood swung open. Prince Edward stepped out first. His face was red. His jaw was clenched. He didn't even glance at Marcus. He just walked past, his shoes clicking sharply against the marble floor. Princess Catherine followed. Her expression was unreadable, calm, cold. She paused for a second, her eyes flicking toward Marcus. Just for a moment. Just long enough for him to wonder if she knew. If she realized he had heard everything, then she walked away. The door stayed open. Marcus could see inside now. Prince Richard stood by the fireplace, his back to the door. His shoulders were slumped. His head was bowed. He looked like a man who had just lost everything. The Queen Mother sat in a high-backed chair near the window. Her hands were folded in her lap. Her face was still unreadable, but her eyes were sharp, watching, calculating. She looked up, and for the first time that night, she looked directly at Marcus. His blood ran cold. She didn't say anything. She didn't have to. Her eyes said it all. She knew he had been listening. She knew he had heard every word, and now Marcus realized. He was no longer invisible. He was a witness. The Queen Mother held his gaze for 3 long seconds. Then she looked away. The door closed softly behind Prince Richard as he left the room. Marcus was alone in the hallway again. But everything felt different now, heavier, darker. His shift ended at midnight. He walked through the back corridors of the palace, his footsteps echoing off the stone walls. Other guards passed him. They nodded. He nodded back. No one spoke. That was the rule. But tonight, Marcus was grateful for the silence. He didn't trust his own voice. He changed out of his uniform in the staff quarters. His hands were still shaking. He pulled on his jacket and headed for the exit. The cold night air hit his face like a slap. He welcomed it. He needed to clear his head. To think. To figure out what the hell he was supposed to do now. He lived 20 minutes away by bus. A small flat in a quiet neighborhood. Nothing special. But it was his. And tonight, it felt like the only safe place in the world. When he got home, he locked the door behind him. He poured himself a drink. Whiskey. Cheap. It burned going down, but it helped. A little asterisk. He sat on the edge of his bed and stared at the wall. His mind kept replaying the conversation. Every word. Every name? Alistair Greaves. James Holloway. The contract. The money. The scandal. He was a witness. And witnesses were dangerous. The next morning, Marcus reported for duty like always. He stood at his post. He followed orders. He didn't speak unless spoken to. But something was different. He could feel it. The other guards looked at him strangely. Not suspiciously. Just ... aware. Like they knew something had changed. At noon, he was summoned to the head of security's office. Captain Lawrence. A man with 30 years of service. A man who didn't smile. A man who didn't waste time. Marcus knocked twice. The door opened. Lawrence sat behind a heavy wooden desk, his hands folded in front of him. "Sit," he said. Marcus sat. Lawrence studied him for a moment. His eyes were cold, clinical. "You were stationed outside the west sitting room last night? It wasn't a question?" Marcus nodded. "And you remained at your post for the entire shift?" "Sir, good." Lawrence leaned back in his chair. "Then you understand the importance of discretion." Marcus's throat went dry. "Yes, sir. Royal Guards are trusted with many things. Access, proximity, information. But above all, we are trusted with silence." Lawrence's voice was calm. To calm. What happens inside these walls, stays inside these walls. "Do you understand?" "Yes, sir. Good." Lawrence opened a drawer and pulled out a document. He slid it across the desk. "Sign this." Marcus picked it up. It was a non-disclosure agreement. A legal document stating that he would never speak about anything he saw, heard, or witnessed while on duty. That he would never give interviews. Never write a book. Never share information with journalists or the press. Violation would result in immediate termination and legal action. Marcus had signed one of these before, when he first joined, but this one was different. This one was specific. Dated today. Addressing last night? They knew, of course they knew. They knew he had heard everything. He signed it. His hand was steady, but his mind was racing. Lawrence took the document back and filed it away. "You're dismissed." Marcus stood. He turned toward the door. "One more thing," Lawrence said. Marcus stopped. "You're being reassigned. Effective immediately. You'll be stationed at the East Wing. Daytime shifts only. No private events." Marcus nodded. He didn't argue. He didn't ask why. He already knew. They were moving him, keeping him away from anything important, anything sensitive. They were isolating him. He left the office and walked back to his locker. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He pulled it out. A text from an unknown number. "We need to talk. Meet me at the cafe on Marlowe Street. 1 hour. Come alone." J.H. Marcus stared at the screen. His heart pounded in his chest. J.H. James Holloway. The journalist. How did he get this number? How did he know? Marcus deleted the message. His hands were trembling. He shoved the phone back in his pocket and leaned against the locker. His mind was spinning. He couldn't meet with a journalist. That would be career suicide. Worse, that would be betrayal. But what if Holloway already knew? What if he had sources inside the palace? What if Marcus's silence didn't matter anymore? He stood there for 10 minutes, just breathing, just thinking. Then he made a decision. He grabbed his coat. He walked out of the palace, and he headed toward Marlowe Street. He told himself he was just going to listen, that he wouldn't say anything, that he would hear what Holloway had to say, and then walk away. But deep down, he knew. Once he sat down at that table, there would be no going back. The cafe was small and tucked into a quiet side street. Not the kind of place tourists visited. Not the kind of place anyone would notice. Marcus pushed open the door. A bell chimed softly. The smell of coffee and burnt toast filled the air. James Holloway sat in the back corner. He was younger than Marcus expected, maybe 40. Sharp eyes, a worn leather jacket. A notebook open on the table in front of him. He looked up when Marcus walked in. He didn't smile. He just gestured to the seat across from him. Marcus sat down slowly. His hands were clenched under the table. "You came?" Holloway said. His voice was calm. Matter of fact. "I wasn't sure you would." "I'm not here to talk," Marcus said quietly. "I'm here to listen." "Fair enough." He closed his notebook and leaned back in his chair. "I'll make this simple. I know what happened last night. I know there was a meeting. I know Prince Richard was confronted about his deal with Alistair Greaves. And I know you were standing outside that room the entire time." Marcus's jaw tightened. He didn't say anything. "I'm not asking you to confirm or deny," Holloway continued. "I already have enough to publish the story. I have documents. I have bank records. I have testimony from people who worked with Greaves. I have everything I need. Then why am I here?" Marcus asked. "Because I want to give you a choice." Holloway leaned forward. His eyes were steady, serious. "How this story's going to break?" "Within 3 days. And when it does, people are going to ask questions. They're going to want to know how it happened. How a senior member of the royal family could make a deal with a man like Greaves. And when they start digging, they're going to find you." Marcus felt his stomach drop. "What do you mean?" "You were on duty last night. You were stationed outside that room. Security logs will show it. Shift records will show it. And when the palace realizes I have inside information, they're going to wonder where it came from. They're going to look at everyone who was there. And you, Marcus, you're going to be at the top of that list." Marcus's hands curled into fists. "I didn't tell you anything." "Don't know," Holloway said. "But they won't believe that. They'll think you leaked. They'll think you're my source. And they'll make an example out of you." Marcus swallowed hard. His throat felt like sandpaper. "So what do you want from me?" "I want to protect you," Holloway said simply. "I want to make sure that when this story breaks, you're not the one who gets destroyed. Because right now, you're in danger. The palace is going to cover this up. They're going to bury it. And anyone who gets in the way, they'll bury them too." "I signed an NDA," Marcus said. "This morning, they made me sign it." Holloway nodded. "I know. They're scared. They're trying to lock down anyone who knows anything. But that NDA doesn't protect you. It protects them. If they decide you're a liability, they'll get rid of you. They'll fire you. They'll make sure you never work again. And you'll have no recourse. No protection." Marcus stared at the table. His mind was racing. Everything Holloway was saying made sense. But it also felt like a trap. Like a test. "What do you want me to do?" "Tell your side of the story," Holloway said. "On the record, let me publish it. Let the world know you were just doing your job. That you didn't leak anything. That you were a witness, not a conspirator." Marcus shook his head. "I can't. If I do that, I'll lose everything." "You're going to lose everything anyway?" Holloway said quietly. "The only question is whether you lose it in silence or whether you get ahead of it. If you speak now, you control the narrative. If you stay silent, they control it. And trust me, they won't be kind." Marcus looked up. His eyes met Holloway's. "You're asking me to betray them?" "I'm asking you to protect yourself," Holloway corrected. "There's a difference." Marcus stood up. His chair scraped against the floor. "I need to think." "You have 24 hours, Holloway said. "After that, the story runs. With or without you." Marcus walked out of the cafe. The cold air hit him again. He started walking. No direction, no plan, just movement. His mind was a storm. He thought about his job, his oath, his loyalty. He thought about the Queen Mother's eyes, the way she had looked at him. Like he was already guilty, he thought about what Holloway had said, about being a scapegoat, about being buried. By the time he got home, it was dark. He sat in his flat with the lights off, just him and the silence. His phone buzzed. Another unknown number. This time, a voice message. He played it. "Sir Dawson, this is Rebecca Aldridge from the Palace legal team. We need to speak with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. regarding your duties last night. Please confirm your attendance." Marcus closed his eyes. They were already moving. Already circling? He had less time than he thought. He opened his laptop. He typed James Holloway's name into the search bar. Articles popped up. Dozens of them. Investigations exposes scandals. Holloway didn't just report the news. He destroyed people. But he also told the truth. Marcus sat there for hours, staring at the screen, weighing his options, his loyalty against his survival, his silence against his freedom. And then, at 2 a.m, he made his choice. He sent an email. Short. Simple. "I'll talk. Tomorrow, noon, same place." He hit send. And the moment he did, he knew. There was no going back now. Marcus didn't sleep. He sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the wall until the sun came up. At 8:30, he called in sick. He told them he had a fever. Lie. But what was one more lie at this point? At 9, his phone rang. Rebecca Aldridge. He didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Professional. Polite. But underneath there was an edge. "Mr. Dawson, we need to speak with you today. Please return this call as soon as possible." He deleted it. At 11, he left his flat. He took a different route this time. Checked over his shoulder 3 times. Paranoia was setting in. But maybe it wasn't paranoia. Maybe they really were watching. He arrived at the cafe 5 minutes early. Holloway was already there. Same table. Same notebook. But this time, there was a recording device on the table. Small, digital, professional. Marcus sat down. He stared at the device. "That's for the interview?" Holloway nodded. "Everything you say will be on the record. But I'll let you review the transcript before I publish. You can approve it." "Make sure I got it right." Marcus swallowed. His mouth was dry. "What do you need me to say?" "Just the truth," Holloway said. "Tell me what you heard, what you saw. I'm not asking you to embellish. I'm not asking you to guess. Just tell me what happened." Marcus took a deep breath. He looked at the recording device. Then he looked at Holloway. "If I do this, I'm done. You know that, right? I'll never work for the palace again. I'll never work in security again. I'll be blacklisted," probably, Holloway said honestly. "But you're already done, Marcus. They're going to burn you whether you talk or not. At least this way, you get to tell the truth." Marcus closed his eyes. He thought about his father. A military man. A man who believed in honor, in duty, in loyalty. What would he think? What would he say? But his father was gone, and Marcus was alone. And the palace wasn't loyal to him. They were loyal to themselves. He opened his eyes. "Turn it on." Holloway pressed a button. A red light blinked. "State your name for the record." "Marcus Dawson." "And your position?" "I'm a Royal Guard. I've served for 8 years. And where were you stationed on the night of November 12th? "Outside the West Sitting Room, during the royal gathering." Holloway leaned forward. "And what did you hear?" Marcus paused. This was it. The line. Once he crossed it, there was no going back. He thought about the NDA he had signed, the legal threats, the career he was about to destroy, and then he thought about the Queen Mother's eyes, the way she had looked at him, like he was disposable, like he didn't matter. Spoke. "I heard Prince Richard being confronted by his family about a financial deal he made with a man named Alistair Greaves. They accused him of taking money from someone under investigation. They said a journalist had documents, that the story was going to break, and they were panicking." Holloway nodded. "Did you hear any names? Any specifics?" "They mentioned your name," Marcus said quietly. "James Holloway." They said you had bank transfers, photos, everything. Oh. And what was Prince Richard's response? He defended himself at first. Said he was trying to help the family. That the money was for the northern estates. For charities. But then he admitted he hid it from them. That he signed the contract in secret. And how did the family react? They were angry, hurt. Princess Catherine called him a liar. Prince Edward said he destroyed their reputation. And the Queen Mother. Marcus trailed off. What did she say? She said if it got out, it would destroy all of them. Not just him. All of them. Holloway was quiet for a moment. Then he asked, "Did you report any of this to your superiors?" "No, why not?" "Because I was trained not to," Marcus said. "Royal guards don't repeat what they hear. We're supposed to be invisible. We're supposed to forget, but they found out you were there. They knew I was stationed outside the room. They reassigned me the next day. And they made me sign another NDA? Did they threaten you?" Marcus hesitated. Not directly, but the message was clear. Stay silent or lose everything. Holloway turned off the recorder. He sat back and studied Marcus. "That's all I need." Marcus felt a strange sense of relief and terror, both at the same time. "When does it publish?" "Tomorrow morning," Holloway said. "Front page." Marcus nodded slowly. "What happens to me now?" "You disappear for a while," Holloway said. "Go stay with a friend, a family member, somewhere the press can't find you. Because once this breaks, they're going to come after you. The palace will deny everything. They'll call you a liar. They'll try to discredit you. But the evidence backs you up. And the public will side with you. You sound very sure of that." "I am," Holloway said. "Because people hate corruption. And they really hate it when the powerful try to cover it up." Marcus stood up. His legs felt weak. "I hope you're right." "I am," Holloway said again. "And Marcus, you did the right thing." Marcus didn't respond. He just walked out. The cold air hit him. But this time it didn't feel refreshing. It felt final. Like a door closing. He went home. He packed a bag. Just the essentials. Clothes, toiletries, his phone, his laptop. He called his sister. Asked if he could stay with her for a few days. She asked why. He said he'd explain later. That night, he turned off his phone. He sat in the dark, and he waited. Tomorrow, the world would change. His world, at least. And he had no idea if he would survive it. The story broke at 6 a.m. Marcus's sister woke him up. She was holding her phone. Her face was pale. "Marcus, you need to see this." He took the phone. The headline was massive, bold, impossible to miss. Royal scandal. Prince Richard took money from fraudster, palace guard reveals. Below it was his name, his photo, a picture from his palace ID, and the full interview. Every word he had said, every detail, his hands started shaking. He scrolled through the article. Holloway had kept his promise. He hadn't sensationalized it. He hadn't twisted Marcus's words. It was clean, professional, factual, but it didn't matter. The damage was done. His phone, which he had turned back on, was already exploding. Missed calls, voicemails, texts, most from numbers he didn't recognize. Some from people he did. Other guards, former colleagues, his captain, all of them demanding to know what he had done. Why he had done it. One text stood out. From Captain Lawrence. "You're finished, Dawson. You'll never work again. I hope it was worth it." Marcus set the phone down. His chest felt tight. He wanted to throw up. His sister sat next to him. She didn't say anything. She just put a hand on his shoulder. And somehow that made it worse. Because she didn't understand. She didn't know what he had just given up. By noon, the story was everywhere. Every news site, every social media platform. People were taking sides. Some called Marcus a hero, a whistleblower, someone who stood up to corruption. Others called him a traitor, snake, someone who broke an oath for money and attention. The palace released a statement at 1 p.m. short, calculated, cold. The allegations made by a former security staff member are false and defamatory. Prince Richard has never engaged in any inappropriate financial dealings. We are pursuing legal action against those responsible for spreading these lies. Former security staff member? They didn't even use his name. They had already erased him, but Holloway had anticipated this. At 2 p.m., he published a follow-up. Documents, bank records, contracts with Prince Richard's signature, photos of him meeting with Alistair Greaves. Everything Marcus had said was true, and now the world could see it. The palace went silent after that. No more statements, no more denials, just silence. By evening, other media outlets picked up the story. Interviews with financial experts, legal analysts, royal historians. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone had a theory. But the facts didn't change. Prince Richard had taken money from a man under investigation. He had hidden it from his family, and now it was public. Marcus stayed inside for 3 days. He didn't go out. He didn't answer his phone. He just watched the news, watched the fallout, watched his entire life unravel on live television. On the 4th day, something unexpected happened. His phone rang. A number he didn't recognize. He almost didn't answer. But something made him pick up. Mr. Dawson? A woman's voice? Professional.com? Yes. My name is Eleanor Pritchard. I'm a solicitor. I represent several individuals who have been harmed by Alistair Greaves. I've been following your story, and I'd like to speak with you. Marcus frowned. About what? About testifying, she said. Against Greaves? Against anyone who enabled him. Your interview has opened doors. People are coming forward now. People who were too scared before, you gave them courage, Mr. Dawson, and I think you could help us bring him down. Marcus sat down slowly. I don't know if I can do that, understand, Eleanor said gently. You've already sacrificed a lot, but you have a voice now, and that voice matters. Think about it. If you're interested, call me. She gave him her number. Then she hung up. Marcus sat there for a long time, staring at the phone, thinking he had lost his job, his reputation, his career, but maybe, just maybe, he had gained something too. A chance to do something that mattered. A chance to hold people accountable. 2 weeks later, Prince Richard resigned from all his public duties. The palace released another statement. This time, they acknowledged errors in judgment and a failure to uphold the standards expected of the royal family. It wasn't a full admission, but it was close enough. Alistair Greaves was arrested 3 days after that, charged with fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy, and when investigators started digging, they found more. More victims, more crimes, more people who had been hurt, and Marcus reluctantly agreed to testify. The trial took 6 months. It was brutal. Defense lawyers tried to tear him apart, tried to paint him as a liar, a fame seeker, someone with an agenda. But Marcus didn't break. He told the truth, over and over again. And slowly, the jury believed him. Greaves was convicted, sentenced to 15 years. Prince Richard was never charged, but he never returned to public life. He became a ghost, a cautionary tale. And Marcus? He didn't go back to security work. He couldn't. But he found something else. He started speaking. At universities. At conferences. About ethics. About accountability. About what it means to do the right thing, even when it costs you everything. People listened. Some agreed. Some didn't. But they listened. One night, a year after the story broke, Marcus sat in a small pub, alone. A man approached him. Older, gray hair. Kind eyes, you're Marcus Dawson, the man said. Marcus nodded. He was used to this now. Used to being recognized. I just wanted to say thank you, the man said. My daughter invested her life savings with Greaves. Lost everything. But because of you, she got some of it back. Not all of it, but enough. enough to start over. The man shook Marcus's hand. Then he walked away. Marcus sat there, staring at his drink, and for the first time in a year, he felt something other than regret. He felt like maybe, just maybe, it had been worth it. He stood outside that hallway for 3 hours. His legs ached. His back was stiff. But he didn't move. He couldn't. That was the job. Royal guards don't shift. They don't fidget. They become part of the walls, invisible, forgettable. But Marcus didn't stay invisible. And because of that, the truth didn't stay hidden either.